Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. I'm excited to have the second episode of Marketing Strategy for a New Economy. I am Rubina Collins, CEO of Firefly Strategies Global. And before I continue, I want to make sure everybody can hear me. So if you are watching, please let me know if you can hear me. I'm going to check on my phone on LinkedIn really quick to see if everything is working properly. Actually, I'll check on Facebook, and that'll give everybody a few minutes to jump in and join us. So going to my Firefly Strategies page, and it says I'm live. So I'm going to keep going. So today's episode is all about incorporating listening strategies. And I want to introduce this concept to corporate clients, businesses, even our current clients, really starting to have this conversation around, what does it mean to incorporate a listening strategy into your marketing strategy? And in some ways, to me, we see marketing strategy and marketing plans. I'm going to come a little closer so you guys can hear me with this microphone. Marketing strategy and marketing plans are usually the sort of top level, more of the umbrella of what's holding implementation and tactics below, right? The everyday, day-to-day implementation falls below strategy and planning. Listening strategy and market research typically is in alignment when you're looking at a graph or maybe a mind map. You would see market research kind of hanging out on the side. Then there's the marketing strategy, and then the plan could even be just below it, and then implementation, and all of that tactics, all of that coming underneath it. So market research kind of hangs out here. And I say market research because in the corporate business world, listening strategy, or let's say community listening sessions, these are words that are used sort of in the nonprofit world, can be looked at as markets research, because we're going out into the marketplace and gathering research and information that then informs the marketing plan. And in the nonprofit foundation world, we have community listening sessions that then again inform potentially strategic direction for the organization, foundation. It could inform programs. You could do listening sessions, a variety of levels when it comes to going out into the marketplace. Okay. So market research is typically how corporations, businesses look at listening. But I want to move market research and listening strategy away from being in alignment with marketing plans to actually being above in a hierarchical sense, if we're going to look at it that way. I feel like listening comes way up at the top, and it needs to be something that is looked at as the priority. If you aren't prioritizing listening right now when it comes to marketing and comms, you are leaving so much on the table. And the reason I'm saying this is because whenever there is this energetic shift, there is not just energetic, but like actual transition shifts at the human level, at a global level. We have all gone through a incredibly challenging, traumatic, and life-changing experiences over the last 2 to 3 years. People have changed. And if you conducted market research even 2 years ago, that information is now totally old and in many ways irrelevant. And so my ask today, and why I wanted to have this conversation of the listening strategy being the top priority, is because of this. People have changed. People have changed their own priorities. They have completely changed the way they are making decisions. What they need has changed. What they value has changed. And so listening going out and actually paying attention to and listening to your customers, your clients, your constituents, your supporters in the community to see where they are at. This is fundamental information to have in order to design an accurate marketing plan that then is the basis for your marketing department, your comms moving forward, and absolutely needs to be happening if there is okay, somebody says I hear you. Okay, awesome. Thank you for letting me know. Um and it is the fundamental, it's the basis for what needs to be designed, and this marketing plan is the blueprint that your team is going to take to deliver comms into the community that's going to then drive these bottom line results for your company, for your organization. And so adding that as a priority this year is number one. So how do we want to do that? How should we be doing that? Is it too late? It's already July starting. It's going to be August soon. No, this is for 2023. Okay. So most of the marketing world is already looking at and planning 2023. I hope they are looking at 2023. And if you're not, this is your opportunity and your chance to start to really think about how you can start planning for 2023 now and incorporating and designing listening sessions within your community, whatever that community looks like for you. So, a community is usually target audiences, your base of customers and clients and constituents, your supporters and donors, if you're a foundation or a nonprofit. And you're going to design you're going to design market research surveys, circles, focus groups, conversations, and feedback opportunities. Okay, these are all the different things, and I'll repeat them again. But they're surveys, listening sessions, community focus groups, conversations, and feedback sessions. These are all different ways to be able to bring people together to start communicating with you. And the questions need to be different. And I really want all of us to really think about what those questions need to be today versus what they were if you conducted market research and focus groups and went back into your communities to listen, what those questions were even 2 or 3 years ago. They're going to look very different today. So I just want to say really quickly, StreamYard is what I use to go live. And so when you log in, there's this opportunity for you to give StreamYard permission for me to be able to see what your name is and what platform you're joining me from. So LinkedIn user is what I see here. Thank you for letting me know that you heard and you see me. And so if you can provide StreamYard permission if you're watching, that would be great. Okay, so back to what we were talking about, listening strategies, okay? How do we incorporate, what are the types of things we really want to do? Okay, so I gave you the list of potential ways to be out in the community to listen. Typically, marketing departments, marketing research, CMOs, marketing directors, market research coordinators, the thing that is driving our market research is we want to learn what is motivating somebody to purchase what we're selling, right? So we might ask them about the product. We might ask them, what benefits they're getting from this product. We might ask them to give us feedback about the way it feels and functions and the material on a product that we're doing, or the service. Did it give you any benefit? We're kind of going in with this agenda of collecting testimonials to give ourselves further validation and permission to continue to market this product out into the world. And that approach, sure, it works and it gives you good information to be able to continue to market that product. But what I'm suggesting is that alongside that, and perhaps pausing that way of collecting data, this agenda of like, how do we validate what we're doing and then continuing to put it out into the market, but shifting for a moment, taking off the revenue hat and putting on the human hat and saying, I'm really going to create these questions for my surveys and facilitate these conversations, really caring about the individual that is on the other side. And so we're removing revenue for a moment, not necessarily completely letting it go, because we need that, right, for running businesses. Thank you, Martin. We need to start to consider the well-being of the person on the other side. And so a human being that has gone through what they've gone through over the past 3 years needs that consideration. And you need to be able to understand now what is motivating them versus what was motivating them just 3 years ago. So much has changed dramatically. There has been a 180 in people's lives. They are no longer making decisions the same way. They might not even like your product anymore. They might not like your product, but they might not need your product or services anymore. And you need to know why, because this is your opportunity to innovate. These are the times where innovation really starts to happen. And I see some of this percolating out in our economies right now. In our economy, there's some innovation happening, but I feel like the potential for the type of innovation that could really happen is being lost because we're too afraid to let go of old concepts and old ways and old products and old services that we've continued to provide to our clients. They're just don't really need them anymore. Okay? So we need to be able to approach our questioning, our survey design, our facilitation, our conversations that we're having with removing, basically peeling the onion layers back, removing veils, and showing up really raw and vulnerable with our customers, with our community, with our constituents, and really hearing like, is this useful to you anymore? Is this adding value to your life? And where are you at as a human being that I care about so that I can innovate? I can design something new for you. I can shift and change. I can tweak. Sometimes there's just a little tweak that's necessary. We're not going to find that tweak if we continue to think we're just going to go into our marketplaces and our communities to just find validation, right? Just be talking to those communities and forming those questions so that people are like, yeah, I like this. And they're just not going to share with you to the level that you really need them to show up and share, because innovation is a huge opportunity for exponential growth, for exponential impact, for exponential income and revenue. So listening strategies being priority means we need to reallocate budgets for 2022 and 2023. So that is my call to action for all of you, my request for marketing companies to look at what and where have we been spending our marketing dollars on, our communications dollars on, our research dollars on. Reevaluating those campaigns, those communications, how have we been conducting our email marketing? What is going on with social media right now? Is it really helping? Is it useful? Is it adding to the frustration that our communities are going through? Or is it actually supporting and creating a solution for what they're going through. So to me, those types of questions and starting to look at that, and then reallocating our budget. So typically what we see with marketing budgets is there's a lot dedicated to ad buys, whether they're digital ad buys, whether they're print ad buys. I think there's certain markets that really still rely heavily on the print side of things. And there's gorgeous publications right now. So we're not saying print is dead or gone or anything like that, but that's typically where a lot of our money is spent. And doesn't it make sense that because we're allocating so much of our dollars to creative ad buying, possibly even software that supports that type of work, putting out that type of communications out into the world? So software, ad buying, generating creative, like actual people who are creatives who are creating this content creators, designers, etc. That's where a lot of our dollars are going. They're not typically going to meeting the community and having conversations. So look at the other call to action, go back to our marketing budgets, go back to 2023 marketing budget that maybe you're already designing, and see where reallocations can happen to be able to help inform a brand new comms campaign, brand new content creation, providing brand new problems, challenges to your creative teams to then come up with new creative and assets to help solve those and support those people and the challenges that they're going through. Okay. Two concepts that I also want to bring up today that kind of blend in with the approach that I'd like you to take with listening strategy is creativity and conversations. Those are sort of like the two guiding words that I'd like you to consider as you're going back and thinking about, what are the driving principles around our listening strategies? And it's going to be creativity and conversations. Now, when we look at the word creativity, it's not necessarily, I can draw a great picture. I have this creative ability to be able to visually convey messages and stories. That is also creativity, but creativity is an innate quality within human beings. We are creators, right? So creativity also is grounded in innovation. And really, what I'm asking for here is a creative mindset that allows us to re-look at how to deliver a solution to our communities. Is it done through this product, or can this product be shifted and changed in order to more accurately serve, more impactfully serve our community and customer? So look at creativity from that lens rather than how cool can I get this ad campaign to look. That's not necessarily what I'm talking about when I'm talking about creativity, okay? And I can get into more details and set up an initial consultation with you all to really design something that, this word I'm looking for of like playing with these like edges of these concepts that we've had in marketing and communications for so long. And I'm really learning as I'm delving into brand new concepts and areas of developing new ways of marketing out into the community. I'm really developing the language around it as well. So this is really, I'm doing this real time with you all, okay? And some of these concepts, especially this concept around creativity, we have, looked at it with this other lens that I'm sharing with you today, the lens of not just visually conveying something that's beautiful and pretty, but the lens of where can we just completely innovate for our customer and client, for our constituency, and bringing that type of creativity to the table. Okay. And then the conversation side is, conversations aren't at the surface level. I mean, they can be, but I think what we're learning, what we've gained from the past 2 to 3 years, is there is a depth that we need to be able to access, that we're all craving. And that includes in the marketing communications world, between the depth that's required between brand and customer, okay, between politician and constituent, between organization and supporter, whether that's a donor or whether that's, a different type of partner within your organization and foundation. We're craving a depth because we went deep. Human beings who are your customers and clients, right? They're not just a line item on a spreadsheet. That is the key concept that I want everybody to take away. There are human beings behind each of those numbers, purchases, interactions on their spreadsheet, okay? In your CRM document, in your financials, those are human beings on the other side of that. They went through and accessed a depth of pain, of transition, of challenge. And we can't just tippy toe around that and pretend like, oh, they're going to just keep buying the Nike brand and these shoes because of that reason, or they're going to keep purchasing our services the way they were designed 5 years ago or 10 years ago, because that's just what they've done. You can't assume that about people. And that's why we're seeing such a shift in people calling out other people calling out brands, people calling out politicians, people calling out organizations and foundations that aren't being transparent. I think this call for transparency that we've seen as well is asking us to show the depth behind a brand, the depth behind the organization and the company. They're wanting you to show up in conversation with them, not at this really like superficial surface level, but a conversation that's going to really get down to how can we have this symbiotic relationship between customer and company, customer and brand, right? So, and there's that other word that I brought up in last week's session, which is symbiosis, right? How do we work together? How do we talk to a customer? How do we engage a customer and the customer really support and uplift this brand in a way that's really mutual and benefiting to all parties involved? And the listening strategy is at the top of getting to that place with your customers and your clients. And so listening strategies, symbiosis, the two guiding principles for your listening strategies are going to be creativity and conversations. And the calls to action are going back, re-looking at, and then reallocating our budgets, and sitting down and looking at how have we conducted market research in the past? How have we really outreached to our customers and clients in the past? Looking at the tools, the questions, the processes that we have used, and completely redesigning those questions and processes in order to support an openness and a depth and a level of conversation that goes beyond the surface. Okay. So that's the main concept that I wanted to bring up today. I think this is something that I've been just talking about all year long, like listening. We really need to listen. We don't listen well. We as human beings are actually horrible listeners. And it's been identified over and over again because we typically listen to be able to respond. And though, of course, like we're reactionary people, we are reactionary beings. We hear something, we want to like respond right back immediately instead of letting it sink in. So that's the other aspect of listening strategy that I would love our marketing departments, our marketing directors, comms departments to really be thinking about is how can we listen and just take the information back and like really hear it, you know? And if we're not understanding something, that we can go back and say, "Can you explain that? Because like I've never heard that before, and or we've never really considered that before. What would that look like? What would that mean? What does that even mean? What does that mean in terms of our relevancy? What does that mean in terms of what we're delivering out to our customers? What does that mean in terms of our messaging and storytelling?" So I think that that level of kind of breaking apart the processes and ways that we have done these things and coming back to the table with something brand new. And guess what? It's going to be brand new, which means it's not going to be perfect. And you're going to receive feedback, and then you can perfect it as you receive that feedback. Okay. So there are also people such as us, Firefly Strategies Global, and my team that work with companies and organizations in order to help really get to that more deeper level of engagement, of designing communications and listening strategies that get to that level with our customers and our communities. So if you need that type of support, we are here for you. You can go to our website, fireflystrategies.com, and keep showing up to my Thursday call, my Thursday session and show. And we're keep talking about marketing in a new economy and what does that look like. And we're going to continue to have this conversation. And I want to really dissect some of these concepts, these ideas that we've employed for so long within the marketing industry. And they all need to be turned upside down and inside out and reevaluated. And some of them could probably get retired, and we could probably design something even better that supports our community so much better. So, with that, thank you for joining me. And I will see you next Thursday, and we'll get into a different aspect of marketing in a new economy. Thanks, everybody.